So we're live.
We are.
This is going to be good, I think.
You think?
I can't wait to hear what you think about this movie.
Well, I think you know what I think about this movie.
I don't think I do know what I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
You couldn't tell?
Well, I could tell. But I'm going to be very curious to hear what you say about it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you're going to say about it.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema, Robert Meyer Burnett. And I'm here with my lovely compatriot,
Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. I am the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
the enchantress of entertainment. I'm sure you're going to be absolutely enchanting our audience tonight with your scintillating views on this film.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find out.
I think this, maybe more so than any other film that we've talked about, does require wine.
It does require wine.
It requires
That is for
wine,
sure.
does it not?
Yes.
Let's see what we got for tonight's glass of wine. This is a Bueri. How's that pronounced?
Sure.
Come on, I don't know. It's a Chardonnay. Is this another?
It's from Trader Joe's.
From Trader Joe's. I don't know how to pronounce this. You know, it's a foreign language. Bueri? Barrere? I don't know. Everyone laughs at me. Is it French?
Sure.
Come on, man. All right. Well, we haven't had a Chardonnay in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's a refreshing Chardonnay. Now, wait. We are going to drink to David Cronenberg's very controversial 1996 film that I have, believe it or not, on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Here's my Laserdisc, my mint condition Laserdisc. It's still in a beautiful vinyl sleeve. And thanks to Dieter Bastian, I now have the 4K restoration of Crash from Germany. What a cover that is. I'm a huge David Cronenberg fan, so I'm happy to drink to his 1996 adaptation of J.G. Ballard's book, Crash. Let's drink to Crash. J.G. Ballard, of course, was the author who also came up with he wrote the book Empire of the Sun, based on his own experiences in World War II. He also wrote High Rise, and if you want to see another interesting film, a little bit more palatable, but still as strange as this one, maybe, look at Tom Hiddleston starring in High Rise.
Okay.
This movie falls.
Well, I wanna taste
let's
the
try.
wine.
Let's try the wine. Have another glass. It's tangy. Are you not a fan of this wine?
I don't know. It has to, I have to...
I like it. It's interesting. Well, anyway, I have to say, I'm a big David Cronenberg fan. And when this movie had come out, it already caused quite a controversy at the Cannes Film Festival, where it was given an award for audacity.
Sure.
Special award that has not been given out since.
Oh,
from what I understand.
They made an award just
They gave
for
a
this.
special award for this movie, Audacity. The first time I saw it was at the Sunset 5 Theater, and it was a screening after it had premiered at Cannes. I'd heard all about it, couldn't wait to see it, and I actually saw it with David Cronenberg and Jeremy Thomas. It was at an audience screening, and there was talk that they were going to cut it to get an R rating as opposed to an NC-17. Now, I had met Cronenberg a couple of times before, but after the screening, I went up to him, and I was like, don't change a thing. I was quite enamored of this movie. And I had read the book. Hang on, there's some information. I'm setting you up because I just am trying to give you more information because you said you didn't, So the book is very interesting. It's inspired people like The Normal, their song Warm Leatherette, that Grace Jones also sang. Warm Leatherette. You know that song?
That book, Crash, inspired that song.
Yeah, Warm
So
Leatherette.
They actually read that book.
They read that book. And the Manic Street Preacher's song Mausoleum, I got this on Wikipedia, from 1994's The Holy Bible, contains the famous Ballard quote about his reasons for writing Crash. Ballard said the reason he wrote the book was, I wanted to rub the human face in its own vomit. I wanted to force it to look in the mirror. That's what J.G. Ballard said his own book was about. And a lot of critics were very divided. A publisher's reader returned the verdict saying the author is beyond psychiatric help. Do not publish. The review in the New York Times said, Crash is, hands down, the most repulsive book I have come across. However, retrospective opinion now considers Crash to be one of Ballard's best and most challenging works.
Wow.
And
if that's his best work.
yeah, and this movie and the book is about symptoprophilia, specifically car crash sexual fetishism. Its protagonists become sexually aroused by staging and participating in real car crashes. But I believe that symptoprophilia is something more than that. Let's look and see. Symptoprophilia is a paraphilia in which sexual arousal involves staging and watching a tragedy, such as a fire or a traffic accident. So what is this movie about, Elizabeth?
This movie has no plot. This movie is about people who fetishize car crashes. And it's one sex scene, weird sex scene after another, strung together with some car crashes in between. Characters have no depth. Their dialogue is terrible. And by the end of the film, I unfortunately was hoping that they would just have a car crash and...
Well, they do have a car crash.
Just crash and not continue the torture of watching this film.
There is a plot to this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's the Ballard couple. And Deborah Kara Unger, who's exquisitely beautiful. Do you think she's beautiful?
She is beautiful.
She's from David Fincher's The Game. Mm-hmm. So she was in The Game after this. She plays James Ballard's wife. James Ballard is a producer of films, commercials, and that kind of thing. And they have an open marriage. And so the movie opens with 3 sex scenes, one right after another. She is being made love to by a man in an airplane hangar because she's learning how to fly. He is having sex with an editor on the Steenbeck or whatever, the editing table, and then afterwards they have sex with one another, but they have unarousing sex, so they tell each other all about their other trysts.
Wow.
Well, you did see that. That's how the movie opens. So it opens, it gets right into the... and I think the whole thing is that, both of them are not... they're unsatisfied with their physical beings. They're not... I think this is a common theme, too. People are unsatisfied with their lives in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they're messed up.
And in this case, it's almost like we haven't done the movie Hellraiser, but I talk about Hellraiser a lot in that
I've seen Hellraiser.
Well, Frank Cotton, who's one of the characters in Hellraiser, is so dissatisfied with his life, he literally wants to open up a doorway to hell and have his soul torn apart by the Cenobites. Because he's looking for that experience.
Hellraiser is a much more interesting film than this.
Well, I mean, okay, so in the course of this movie, Ballard, played by James Spader, gets in a horrible car wreck with Holly Hunter and Holly Hunter's husband. And Holly Hunter's husband goes right through the windshield.
And dies.
Gets killed.
She doesn't seem to care.
And she's messed up. No, I think
she's turned on by the crash and wants to have sex with the guy she crashed into. Doesn't even care that her husband died.
Well, now, wait a minute. Hang on a second. So, James Ballard is undergoing, his leg is shattered. He's in the hospital. His body has been forever altered by this experience of the crash.
Yeah.
And there he meets Ilias Koteas who plays Vaughn. And in the book, Vaughn is a doctor. But you don't really get that in the movie. And Vaughn,
he's not a doctor.
He's like an orderly. He's working there. But when they meet, Vaughn is completely enamored of Spader's wounds.
Yeah.
And looks at them, and he himself is scarred. And he's clinically looking at Spader's wounds. Clearly, it turns him on. He likes the wounds that have been caused by this car accident.
Right.
And then we find out that he is the...
Look, if they had delved into this weird world of this fetish, but they don't. It's just, they watch car crashes and they have sex. and that's it. There's no depth. There's no delving into what is causing these people to have this reaction. Why are they equating, sexual pleasure with car crashes?
Well,
there's no nothing. They don't. Okay, go ahead.
Vaughn talks about altering the body through modern technology, and the idea that
and there is no altering of the body.
Well, yes, if you're in a car crash, your body is punctured and it's
not
penetrated, and it's by the metal, the twisting of the metals, and I read Ballard's book, and he talks a lot about that. I mean, then
Cronenberg failed to portray that in the film because it's really not about that. I did not get any sense that it was about that.
Well, I mean, I see this movie in a way. It's also about the alienation of the modern age.
Really? Because I didn't get that either.
You didn't?
It'd be great if they had delved into that, but I didn't get that at all.
Well, what did you get out of the movie?
That this was some weird fetish film for people who get off on car crashes.
Yeah, but do you know anyone that gets off on car crashes?
No, I don't.
Like Roger Ebert, hang on.
Is that even a thing?
Roger Ebert said something about this movie. Let me see if I can find what Roger Ebert said. Roger Ebert said, Crash is about characters entranced by a sexual fetish that, in fact, no one has. Cronenberg has made a movie that is pornographic in form but not in result. Crash is like a porno movie made by a computer. It downloads gigabytes of information about sex, it discovers our love affair with cars, and it combines them in a mistaken algorithm. The result is challenging, courageous, and original, a dissection of the mechanics of pornography. I admired it, although I cannot say I liked it.
Yeah, no, I didn't get all that out of this film. Sorry, Ebert. I also didn't like your film, so...
Martin Scorsese ranked Crash as the 8th best film of the 90s.
Who?
Martin Scorsese.
Interesting.
Boy, you really
wow. Wow. Okay, I can get, like, if you want to explore this premise and make some deep, connection to the human psyche and how the connection between sex and near death or something like that. But there's none of that here. None of it makes any kind of sense. It's just sex scene, crash. Sex scene, crash. Sex scene, crash.
That sounds like a good day to me.
That's it. The dialogue is terrible. There's no deep depth to this film. Well, there's no story. Whatever he was trying to say, he didn't get to say it.
Well, what about Vaughn's philosophy of benevolent psychopathology?
What does that even mean? What does that mean? Did they ever even attempt to explain what he meant by that? Let's dissect that. What does benevolent mean?
Well, I think he's a benevolent psychopath.
What does that have to do with technology and sex and car crashes?
Well, okay, so this group that Vaughn runs, they restage famous car crashes. They show that we see in the movie they restage the crash that killed James Dean.
Yeah, because people get off on that.
They do get off on that.
In reality, never.
But don't you think that we now live in a world where we watch reality television, we're watching all kinds of calamities, and we sit at home and watch these shows unfurl in front of us, and in a way it's kind of, in this movie they use car crashes metaphorically. You're getting off, they're restaging these crashes, you're watching the twisted metal, people are actually getting hurt in these restaging of car crashes. Doesn't that have something to say, like, where we are as people, that we like watching?
Except we don't. There's nobody in the world who gets off on watching car crashes.
Are you kidding?
There isn't.
Every kid you watched NASCAR and F1, and you're waiting for the cars to crash. When I was a kid, what is more fun when you're a kid than taking two cars and making them crash together?
Well, I'm sorry. I just don't like seeing people getting hurt. That doesn't turn me on in any way. And
I don't think people... Look, the reality of drivers getting hurt was not something... when you're a kid watching cars crash, you don't think about people getting hurt. You just think it's cool to see... It's the same reason you blow stuff up with firecrackers.
Yeah, but even as a child, you must realize that there's a person in there.
Right, but you hope that they don't... they've got roll bars and they've got protective gear. You hope they don't get hurt. I'm not saying I want to see anyone hurt. I'm just saying it. There is something innately in us when it's just like I love watching apocalyptic scenes where a nuclear blast tears through a city, like in the Terminator.
Yeah, see,
and I love Godzilla. I love Godzilla stomping through.
Yeah, see,
I don't want people to get hurt, but I do like. There's something like
that's a guy thing, because I'm sorry, I don't like watching that part. Those parts of the movie I like check out. I'm like, okay, when that's over, I'll check back in.
Now this has a good cast. You've got Rosanna Arquette, who's basically the personification, the ultimate example of this. Her body has been irrevocably altered by being in one of these crash scenarios.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where James Spader actually has sex with her scar.
That's disgusting.
The wound on the back of her leg.
Really gross.
Which you can actually see on this amazing German DVD cover. Look at that.
But don't watch it. And I'm sorry if you watched it for this show, because...
I think this is a film, though. Look, we've not all movies. This is a challenging film. I'd make this film.
I love challenging films, and like I said, if this had some deep point to it, I would have appreciated it more. But it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well,
it didn't make its point. Whatever its point was, it didn't make it.
Well, you could look at this as the drama of a dysfunctional marriage.
Oh, come on. There are better ways to show, the drama of dysfunctional marriage. That's not what this film is about. That's not what he set out to make.
Well, let me ask you then, what do you think he did set out to make?
I really don't know.
Come on, you must not have, you don't have any idea?
Nope.
You didn't enjoy the experience watching this movie at all.
I hated this film. I hated this film so much.
By the way, you know what we have to do now that I think about it? This is almost going to be like a commercial break.
Oh.
We forgot to rate Memento in our last episode.
We did.
So, on our whining about movies scale
of 1 to 4
of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, we forgot to rate Christopher Nolan's Memento. How many glasses of wine?
I really loved Memento. I thought it was very smart, really great film, great, really well written, very clear. Loved that film. Smart.
So how many glasses of wine are you going to give
I wouldn't give it 4.
I, too, will give Memento 4 glasses of wine. You know who else I give 4 glasses of wine? David Cronenberg, for his entire career. He's one of my like all the people, if I could emulate filmmakers, David Cronenberg would be one of the people. You want to hear something interesting?
Tell me why.
Well, okay. So David Cronenberg, throughout his career, beginning with even with his Stereo and Crimes of the Future, his student films, when he made his first feature, he was preoccupied with the idea. Actually, he's preoccupied with cars. First of all, he made his body horror movies. Starting out, he made They Came From Within or Shivers, Rabid,
I like Shivers.
The Brood.
I like The Brood.
I know you like The Brood. Videodrome.
I like
Scanners. The Fly, which you haven't seen, which we should watch. Dead Ringers. I consider all these part of his body horror oeuvre. In the middle of that, he made a car racing movie called Fast Company that I have right over there on Blu-ray, believe it or not. Would you believe I have that on Blu-ray?
I'm so shocked.
I have that on Blu-ray.
Hopefully only one copy.
I only have one copy of Fast Company. I have 2 copies of Crash.
What the hell? Why?
Well, I have the Laserdisc, which I couldn't part with it. Because I never knew when it was going to come out. It didn't come out on Blu-ray. So in these movies, I think one of the things that Cronenberg was grappling with a lot, even in movies like The Fly, certainly in The Fly and in Dead Ringers, and in all of his horror titles, is the fact that we as intellectual, soulful beings, we talked about this on our Videodrome show.
I don't remember.
Well, intellectual, soulful beings are trapped in these physical forms that at any moment could revolt against us. And in the case of Shivers, They Came From Within, we had sort of this venereal disease. In Rabid, a woman after a skin graft, plastic surgery, she ends up with a stinger under her arm, and she drinks men's blood, and she becomes rabid. And
that sounds interesting.
She passes on she doesn't become rabid, she passes that on. And then in a movie like this, the horror is our bodies are so fragile, and being in a car crash is a really traumatic experience that can forever alter your physicality. And is being in a car crash the inevitability of being living in the modern age? And is that what Vaughn and his followers are celebrating? This idea that we are going to eventually, our bodies will be somehow the very world we live in, the fast-paced world of the freeways and highways. That the ultimate example of that is that we will have this transformative experience at some point in our lives. You buy any of that?
No. If that's what he was trying to say, well, he failed miserably. Because that is not what comes across at all. It's not.
Well, I mean, it depends what you're reading into the movie.
Okay.
I mean, you must have got something out of the film.
No, I really hate this film. I thought it was stupid. It was offensive, and I hate it.
Well, at one point in the movie, the idea of sexuality comes into play. You've got James Spader's character ends up having sex with Ilias Koteas, a homosexual tryst in his car. And earlier in the movie, Deborah Kara Unger is asking him while they are having sex, do you fantasize about sex with Vaughn? Is there anything with the fact that
they all end up having sex with each other.
Yes.
They take turns. It's almost like a porn. Like they take turns having sex with...
Well, what do you think? I mean, what do you think that was saying? I mean, I think these characters, they were beyond gender. Like once your body is transformed, instead of becoming, say...
But their bodies weren't transformed. They were maimed, but they weren't transformed.
Well, but they were turned into something they weren't before.
How? What?
Well, look at Rosanna Arquette. I mean,
they had this fetish with car crashes. That's the only thing that changed.
But Rosanna Arquette's body, I mean, she was like the trophy, the of all of this stuff that's happening. I mean, she's the living embodiment of what they all they all want to be.
Maimed and have to wear braces so they can walk. Somehow that turns them on. That's so ridiculous. That makes absolutely no goddamn sense. I'm sorry. This film just really... Nope. It really failed. If it was trying to say something really deep, it truly, truly failed. Failed.
See, I find this movie incredibly compelling to watch.
Why? You were sleeping, by the way.
I've seen it before. I've seen it a million times. I've seen this movie a lot.
That kind of worries me. Like, what does
well,
that
as
say?
a Cronenberg fan, I would put this on and watch it and think to myself, okay, like I don't necessarily think. First of all, Howard Shore the man who photographed this movie shot The Empire Strikes Back, Peter Szyczki. And the man who scored this movie, Howard Shore, scored The Lord of the Rings.
The shots weren't great. It looked like a TV movie.
It's so beautiful.
I'm sorry. Shot. It wasn't beautifully shot.
It was, though.
Not really. I felt like I was watching a TV movie.
Wow, I mean, this film was made over 20 years into a director's career.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Sometimes you don't always succeed.
Now, is there anything in this movie at all that you thought was...
Nope. No, there wasn't even a story.
Jonathan Wild says in the chat that I'll be sleeping in the Robservatory tonight.
Well, at least you'll have your Laserdisc.
I will have my Laserdiscs. Well, okay, but like even in like we watched Videodrome for this show. You've seen Shivers That Came From Within. We've watched The Brood.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen The Fly. You haven't seen Dead Ringers. I mean, I think Dead Ringers is a masterpiece. I think The Fly is pretty great too. It's amazing you haven't seen The Fly. That's a movie we absolutely should watch.
Okay.
Gina Davis from...
It better not be like this film.
No. It's much more accessible than this movie is. But there's nothing... Like, I mean, as an artist yourself...
As an artist, I'm offended.
But you seem to be very dismissive of this movie.
It's terrible. This is a terrible movie. I'm sorry. So pretentious. Yet it has nothing to say. Yeah.
How are we supposed to keep a scintillating conversation going about this film?
I don't know. I told you. I don't know what else I'm going to say other than I didn't like this film.
Well, okay. I mean, I could sit here and like, you know, in a 2000 poll done by the Village Voice of film critics, they listed Crash as the 35th best film of the 1990s. A similar poll done by Cahiers du Cinema placed it 8th. Cahiers du Cinema, isn't that the right pronunciation? Mm-hmm. Cahiers du Cinema placed it 8th. In 2005, the staff of Total Film listed it as 21 on their list of all-time greatest films. Slant Magazine selected it as one of their 100 essential films.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Mark Kermode on the BBC, one of my favorite critics, described Crash as pretty much perfect and praised Howard Shore's score while admitting that it is a hard film to like and describing the cast's performances as glacial.
Yeah. They have no depth. They have no emotions. Their dialogue is terrible. You feel nothing for them. I don't know.
Well, in 2002, Parveen Adams, an academic who specializes in art, film performance, and psychoanalysis, argues that the flat texture of the movie, achieved through various cinematic devices, prevent the viewer from identifying with the characters in the way one might with a more mainstream movie. Instead of vicariously enjoying the sex and injury, the viewer finds himself a dispassionate voyeur. Adams additionally notes that the scars borne by the characters are old and bloodless. In other words, the wounds lack vitality. The wound is not traumatizing, but rather a condition of our psychical and social life. Do you buy that?
Sure.
I mean, you're going to art school.
Okay, yes.
Well, I want some, scintillating analysis.
But you can't analyze
You're the
something
arbiter
that
of
has
cinematic excellence.
Okay, then maybe I'm just not getting the depth of this film because there is none to me. Like, I'm not getting it.
That doesn't mean you're wrong.
I mean, it said nothing to me.
The film was nominated for the Golden Palm at the 1996 Cannes Film Festival. In the end, it won a special jury prize. It was also nominated for the prestigious Grand Prix of the Belgian Syndicate of Cinema. Maybe you have some more wine and something will come to you.
Or you could just keep talking about it if you want.
Well, I'm trying to fill, we're trying to do an hour show here. I just want to say, look.
Somebody send a letter quick.
No. I mean, look. I mean, we could go to see what people have to say in the chat. Is that what you'd like to do?
If you want to keep talking about it, sure, go ahead.
At the 1997 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, the film was filed under the Founders Award, which lamented the year's biggest studio disgraces and stated how Oscar winner Holly Hunter and the usually reliable James Spader and Rosanna Arquette got suckered into this mess is a mystery.
I can agree with that. I mean, I think most people don't like this film.
Well,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, let's see what people have to say if anybody's seen this movie. So we'll go to that camera.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Goodwin is here. Julius sends in a very generous tip. I'm currently writing a book on relationships and calling it Shh for Love. That's not just the title. That's every page in the book, by the way. But I think I'll leave out the part about having sex during or after a car crash.
Thank you. Thank you for leaving that out.
Let's drink to Julius. Thank you, Julius.
Because most or all people don't do that.
Yes. Timbula the Spider Monkey says, I love this movie, but understand it's not going to be for everyone. I don't know if I liked it so much because the book is my favorite of J.G. Ballard's books or not. For the record, my girlfriend hated it. Repugnant and salacious for salaciousness' sake.
This is a
she said.
This is a dude's film.
It's a dude's film?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because it's about sex and crashes.
Okay. All right. It's a dude's film. Philip Alvarez sends in a super chat and says, future whining, please. Do The Fifth Element. I love this movie. I watched it last week.
I almost chose that film.
The Fifth Element. We got to do that. It's a fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
I don't think we've done a Luc Besson.
I do like that film.
We haven't done a Luc Besson movie. We should either do La Femme Nikita, The Professional.
Which I also like.
Or Leon the Professional or The Fifth Element. I like that.
Yeah.
Anonymous says, holy shit, Rob, did you see the trailer that dropped for Possessor by Cronenberg's son? It looks incredible. Okay. Anonymous, yes, I did. My most eagerly awaited films of the year are Tenet, No Time to Die, and right up there is Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor.
What's it about?
Well, from what I understand, it's about a woman who can possess the body of someone else and then go... She's like an assassin. But I've heard it's hideously violent, and there's a lot more to it than that. The trailer is amazing. Now, Brandon Cronenberg made his first film, Antiviral, which I actually also own on Blu-ray.
Yeah, is it good?
And Antiviral is about people that they want to feel closer to celebrities, so they basically, if a celebrity gets a cold, they will get a culture of that disease, and they will put it in themselves to feel closer to the celebrity that they want to feel closer to.
Okay. Wow.
It's actually pretty good. I like it.
You saw it?
I own it. I have the Blu-ray.
You watched it without me?
Well, I've had it for a long time. It's not a movie I would necessarily... I would show it to you. I mean, it's not a movie I'd be like, hey, honey, let's watch Antiviral tonight. Just like, I don't know if I would... What's very funny is your almost 20-year-old daughter, my friend who's no longer with us, Sean Fanning, gave me a framed Crash one-sheet that I've had hanging every place I've lived.
Yeah.
And
so we have movie posters all over the house, and Zoe needed something to hang in her room, and this poster for Crash has been hanging in her room since we moved in here 3 years ago.
And the ad line, it's got like a Crash Test Dummies insignia, and it says a cool, rigorous film involving sex and car crashes.
Yep.
So I take it kind of as a badge of honor.
Well, she needed something to hang on her wall, so...
And it's stuck. It's been there for almost, It's been there for, we've been here for, 3 years?
Yeah, since we moved in.
So...
She's had it on her wall, and I will never, ever, ever let her see this film.
Why not? It's a cool, rigorous film about... I'd be curious what she would think. I don't think they'd get through it, frankly. Mm-mm. I don't think she'd watch it all the way through.
No.
So anyway, Possessor. I cannot wait to see Possessor. The reviews coming out of, I think it was Sundance? It played Sundance, and people said it was incredible. Again, one of the things I love about Cronenberg's movies is I think intellectually I find them interesting. Very compelling.
Yeah, I wish this had more depth to it.
I mean, I can see that. I can understand why you feel that way.
Did you read the book?
I did read the book. The book is actually really...
Before you saw the movie?
Yes.
Okay, that's why you got it. If you don't read the book, there's no indication of what this film is about. And because you read the book, you got it. I didn't read the book, and now I have no desire to read the book.
The book is very interesting. I mean, it obviously goes in a lot more in depth.
So that makes a lot of sense why you like this film, because you read the book. Otherwise, you go into watching this film and you're like, what the hell is this about? Nothing.
You know what? I think I'm going to replace my Star Wars Laserdisc, my Japanese Star Wars Laserdisc,
come on, man.
with Crash.
Why? Oh, man.
Look at that. Now, you know what? You can't see. It's too dark.
Huh.
I'll leave my badass Japanese, the first letterboxed Japanese Laserdisc of the original Star Wars.
I think you should sell your Laserdiscs.
I'm not going to sell my Laserdiscs. Jet sends in a tip and says, John Waters used to beg his mother to take him to the junkyard. He loved to imagine how bad the car crashes were. He would later write a scene with Mink Stoll pouring ketchup all over her as she plays Car Crash. It's a very funny scene.
From what?
I don't know. I don't know what movie that is. I'm not sure. Is that Pink Flamingos? What movie is that from? Tim goes on and says, people have always been fascinated by the macabre. From the crowds at the Coliseum to those who watch boxing, UFC, to every person who slows down to rubberneck at an actual car crash, we are drawn to it. It's in our nature, just not to this level.
Yes, that's true.
Well,
And I would even be interested in this subject if it had a little more depth and something to say. But the way it was portrayed, like it's just about the sex and the car crashes. Like there was no psychological deep delving into why are these people like this. There wasn't.
well, I mean, why is anybody like anything? Anonymous tips and says, "Big smile. Can we at least get some love for the 550 Spider Repro, Elizabeth? That would be the car that James Dean died in."
Oh, that was a beautiful car.
It was a beautiful car, and they wrecked it.
Yeah, what the hell? If you had that car, why would you wreck it?
Well, I'm sure it was a kit car. They you know.
Yeah, so what? What? So you can reenact some weird fetish that you have?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'd rather have the car.
I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't the real 550 Spider.
Doesn't matter. I'd rather have the car.
All right. Well, okay. Phage Lives sends in a super chat and says, "The movie was bad, Rob."
Thank you.
It's not a bad... I don't think it's a bad movie.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
You know, if David Cronenberg happens to watch this episode...
I'm sorry,
I just
David.
want him to know that he is one of my favorite directors, and I used to say that I wanted to be a cross between George Romero, David Cronenberg, John Carpenter, and Stanley Kubrick.
I'm sorry, David, if you're watching this. I do like some of your other films. This one I didn't get. I'm sorry.
By the way, David Cronenberg does cameo in this movie. You hear his voice in the film when at the car where the Vaughn's, the recreation, Vaughn drives around in the same limo that John F. Kennedy was killed in. And when they go pick it up, that's David Cronenberg's voice.
Yep.
I've always wanted to have a beer with David Cronenberg. I've always wanted to sit down. When I met him at a bookstore...
You watched this film with him.
I met him at a bookstore signing. Yeah, but I didn't get to talk to him. I have questions. Maybe I should just call him up and ask him.
Too.
You know what? I'm going to call him up and ask him if I can interview him for the 500th episode of Robservations. I'm going to totally call him up.
And then I'm going to ask him about this movie.
I'm going to call him up and ask him, because why not?
Why not?
I wonder if he would. I wonder if I'd...
you could ask somebody for his number.
Yeah, I can get his number. I'll find his number.
Oh, you should totally call him.
I'm going to call him up. Just randomly call him out of the blue. Maybe get somebody to give me an introduction.
Try.
Hey.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, why not? Look, you can get a hold of anybody if you want.
You can.
You can. You can literally get a hold of anyone. Well, Phage Lives. I think the movie's not for everyone. Obviously, Elizabeth and you park your shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay.
I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people think this is a bad movie.
Sean M. sends in a super chat and says, "Change the subject. Lady Hawk, anyone?" Well, I love Lady Hawk. I have Lady Hawk.
Have I seen that?
With Rutger Hauer and Michelle Pfeiffer. You would love Lady Hawk.
I love Michelle Pfeiffer, so I'm wondering
and
if
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, and I love him too.
Yeah.
Maybe I've seen it?
Well, it's a medieval movie where there's a curse. John Wood has put a curse on them.
Did it come out in the 80s?
It did come out in the 80s.
I've probably seen it. But I would watch it again.
Well, we could.
Because I don't remember anything about it.
Well, there you go. Adam, is that Adam Felbel? Felbel sent in a super chat. Thank you, Adam. And look who's here. Dieter Shiny Bastion. Maybe Dieter will come to my...
Hi, Dieter.
Come save my life.
Thanks for sending us this film.
Dieter says, even if one can't get behind the concept of Crash... By the way, Dieter, somebody sent me... Dieter has a nickname.
Oh, what is
Dieter
it?
has a nickname, and they sent me... When I said he was my fairy grandfather, my German fairy grandfather, they sent me the name in German.
The Fairy Godfather?
Yeah, the Fairy Godfather. Somebody sent it to me.
And you don't have it.
It's somewhere. I gotta get it. I didn't know that Dieter would be here. Dieter says, even if one can't get behind the concept of Crash, it's unique, and that's always good in my book. Yes. Rob's nice 4K book is already sold out for normal price, so that should be saying something. Hope you were satisfied with the transfer, Rob. It's beautiful, dude. It is beautiful, and I love it. And see, Dieter, my man Dieter in Deutschland, from Saarbrücken, got it for me. That's where I got this. And I have lots of people jealous that I have this because Dave Hargrove certainly is. I love this because he can't get it. Sold out. Although Dieter did get Dave Hargrove Soderbergh's Solaris.
You know what else is unique?
What?
The Room.
The Room.
Isn't that what it's called?
The Room. Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, you can't compare Crash to The Room.
But he's saying it's valuable because it's unique.
Oh man, Doc Savage sends in a super chat and says, "I'm with Elizabeth on this. The dialogue was almost as funny as the comments section in Pornhub. Who says those things in dirty talk?"
That's like some dude's dream for his girlfriend to say those things.
I don't think it's a dude's dream to have your girlfriend ask you to describe a male friend of yours or his anus or his penis.
Maybe.
I don't think that would turn me on if you're like, "Tell me about so and so's penis. Is it scarred?" I mean, it's.
Oh, that's so funny.
Doc Savage, that's a fair point, sir. Claudius is here. Bonsoir, mon ami. I think I could name 50 better films released in the 1990s. Remember how we, Gen X, were dubbed the slacker generation? 90s alienation seems so quaint now. That's actually very funny. Let's drink to Claude.
Yes.
I'll drink to that. Yeah, I never felt alienated in the 90s, but there was certainly a lot of films about it. You know, people say that about American Beauty, is that the American Beauty won the Best Picture, and a lot of people say it's not a good Best Picture winner because...
Why?
Well, because of that, the idea of that suburban alienation isn't exactly something new.
I liked that film.
I did too, but does it hold up?
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I like the scene with the bag floating.
Julius is back. Julius is back and says, "Miss Elizabeth, you're saying this is a guy's movie just because of somewhat questionable dialogue and rampant nudity plus violence. Men can be sophisticated souls with tastes of fine art. Madame, I'm offended by the rampant reverse sexism."
Yeah, I know. Every
Here's
time I
to
said it, I
Julius.
thought, I'm being sexist right now, but you know what? I also like some nudity. I want my Zed.
What's you and... I can't believe of all the nudity in all the films we watch, you're obsessed with Sean Connery and Zardoz.
I am.
Okay. You're gonna get some Zed soon.
Am I?
You're gonna get a little Zed action.
Wow.
It's true. Her birthday's on the 27th.
Are you getting me a Zed?
We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, Sean Connery's gonna come over in his loincloth.
Is he?
No.
With his package wrapped
no.
with a bow?
He's 90.
I know. That's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's not gonna be there. It's not gonna be there.
He's still handsome at 90.
He's a handsome guy. Roberto Suarez is here. Roberto says, "Sorry, Rob, the anonymous post about Possessor was me. Anyway, I've always wondered what people who rented this movie with the intent of seeing the Oscar-winning film by Paul Haggis of the same name must be thinking after watching this."
I know. I feel sad for people mixing up the two because the other Crash is a really great film.
It's okay.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, it takes a long time to make a movie.
It does.
And look, I'm not saying that every movie needs to be lauded as some great masterwork of art, because that's not every movie is. But when you have a director who's, 20 years into his career and makes a film like this,
yeah.
I mean,
Maybe he was having a midlife crisis?
I think it's worth studying.
What? His midlife crisis?
No, I think that, and this is also a literary adaptation.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's good.
So that's it?
Maybe it's just too weird for me. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't like that weird. You don't like weird stuff.
I don't like when you mix pain with sex. That really, it doesn't.
Well, that's a whole different.
That doesn't fly for me.
So you don't want to be like flailed? No flogging of you? No.
No, thank you.
Now, what about inflicting pain on someone?
No. I can't even kill a spider. The last thing I want to do is hurt somebody.
Well, have some more wine.
Sorry, babe. I don't know if that turns you on, but it's not going to come from me.
No, I'm not really into pain either. I do not want my body penetrated by metal in a car accident.
Me neither.
I do not fetishize about that.
Well, you really love this film, so...
Well, I guess I love this film because I love Cronenberg's work. And I'm always looking for something in the movie that ties back to his other work. Like, okay.
But you're always one to say, like, let the film stand on its own
merit.
And look, I'm coming at this not thinking about his other films. I've only seen a few, and I'm coming at this not having read the book. And when you just watch this film, you're like, what the hell? What is this about? Like, there's no story, there's no depth, and it's just people having sex and fetishizing car crashes.
Well, there's also, I think there's also an element of trauma. Like, once you've been in a car wreck the same way that James Spader was...
But they don't show the trauma. People are truly traumatized by car crashes. Well, no, they show
his horrible accident.
He never reacts in a way that a normal person reacts to being in a car crash. He doesn't. None of them do. They're never horrified or even in pain or crying or sad. There's none of that. Everyone is deadpan in this film. They get in a crash, they're deadpan. They're having sex, they're deadpan. They're, no matter whatever happens, their friend dies, they're deadpan. And it turns them on. They go and have sex in his car. That is weird.
Well, they're hoping to capture, human beings are weird people.
They are, and I can appreciate weirdness, but this film has no depth. I don't care about these characters. They mean nothing to me. And you know how I feel about, I love learning about weird mental illnesses and weird fetishes and weird stuff like that, but this film, there's nothing there for me to be curious about. It's just repulsive. Sorry.
Well, I don't know what more to say.
I'm sorry. I know you like this.
No,
film.
It's okay. You don't have to love. You don't have to love everything. I don't know what to say. Other than.
Yeah, you read the book, so you went into it with already knowing what it was about.
Well, David Cronenberg actually, he's made 2 movies of books that I've read that were both considered unfilmable. This was one of them. The other one was Naked Lunch, which was William Burroughs' book.
I don't know anything about it.
And there's something about Naked Lunch which is also crazy movie. I think you'd like. I should have shown you Naked Lunch instead of this, probably.
You were so excited to show me this, and we had canceled doing this already once, and then you were like, "Oh, let's do Crash."
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I was just excited that Dieter sent it to me, and I have it, and
I get it.
Getting it. It's a new 4K restoration.
I know there are people that love this film, and that's okay. I just don't.
What can I say? I understand.
I don't dislike you because you like this film.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's benevolent psychopathology. I get that. Our traditional banter. It's brought the show. We usually have such a rich back and forth.
I think we've had a rich back and forth.
I know. I guess okay. Maybe I feel like, are we having a fun rich back and forth?
I'm not angry at you.
Do you like the fact I put more lights over there?
Yeah, your teenage girl bedroom lights.
Those are not teenage girl bedroom lights. They're
pretty though. I like them.
Yeah, and they cover up. They're. It's like being in a movie theater. It's like the marquee.
In a movie theater.
Like when you go to a movie theater and you see the marquee, the lights.
The marquee's on the outside.
Yeah, but those are all my movies. So it's the lights are surrounding.
I like it.
Yeah, they're surrounding the movies.
I like it.
I just need to get more shelves.
Yes.
I've got enough lights.
It looks really, really cool. You guys, when you guys see the Robservatory, you're going to be blown away. It's neat, coming along.
It's coming along.
And I can't wait until the toys are freed. # free the toys.
Episode 500.
You're going to free the toys?
No, they're already going to be. They're going to be displayed.
Are you going to let me free some toys?
No.
Why?
Maybe you can free Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, yeah. I got to free Star-Lord.
Well, all right. It's sad. The Physicality channel sent a super chat. I hope this episode doesn't end in divorce.
Well, it can't. We're not married.
We're not married. We're not married. Maybe we'll never get married now.
I still love him.
I still love you too. Cheers to you.
He can like this film, and I can hate it.
I showed you Body Melt, and we survived that.
That kind of bonded us. See?
And you know, I have yet to watch that beautiful Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray of Body Melt.
We should do Body Melt for this show.
We should do Body Melt.
Yeah.
Maybe we will.
I think Body Melt's comical.
It's true. Well, okay, then why don't we just, like, Claudius is still waiting on Elizabeth's Inception. We need to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Inception, we need to do that. Dances with Wolves. Philip Alvarez. First of all, I think we should do Inception next week. Let's do Inception for Monday.
Okay, yeah, I would love that.
Do you know why?
And we can do Fifth Element for Wednesday.
Because tomorrow was when Tenet was supposed to open.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan's Tenet was supposed to open tomorrow originally. Now it's not going to open, obviously. Who knows when it's going to open. But in honor of that, we can do... And Inception has a romantic... It's a tragic romance.
I love that film. I totally want to do that. But this Friday, I chose Her instead of Dances with Wolves because I didn't get the sense that you guys wanted to watch Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, well, tomorrow, by the way, is Friday.
Oh, tomorrow we're doing...
Tomorrow, Her. We can move it to Saturday if you want.
No, I'm working all day Saturday.
Oh. Well, then we'll keep on schedule. We'll do Her.
Yeah. We're doing Her tomorrow.
So no Dances with Wolves, Philip, even though I love Dances with Wolves.
So do I, but, like, you know, when I pick movies that nobody's not interested in, like, you guys don't watch, and then I feel sad.
There's 100 people watching this show right now.
That's true.
And they're probably never going to come back and go, what the hell? These guys aren't saying anything. No, they'll come back.
I felt like I said a lot.
No, you did. You did.
Do you want me to keep ranting about this?
No. You ranted the way I ranted about The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Well, yeah, but we were kind of drunk, and that was a fun show.
That was a fun show.
Because after we did that, we did Zardoz.
Doc Savage sends in a super chat and says, any chance you've seen House of Yes? I have not seen House of Yes.
No. I don't even know what that is.
I've not seen it.
Huh. I'll have to look that up.
I've not seen... But I have seen All Good People turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way.
Huh?
Yes. Prog rock. It's the first thing I thought of. Seen all good people. Never mind. I've not seen House of Yet. So yeah, we're doing Her tomorrow.
Yeah, Her is tomorrow.
Her is a masterpiece.
Her.
By the way.
I know everyone loves Her.
I love
Come
Her.
on, man.
I love Her. Did you say
You
come
love
on,
Her?
man?
I did. I said, come on, man.
Somebody has to drink. We have to drink now. All right. Let's just come down to it.
Let's come down to it.
We're going to come down to our rating. So
Yes.
explain our rating scale. What is our bottoms-up scale? The bottoms-up scale of Elizabeth's. Why do we have it?
The bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 because there are 4 glasses of wine in a bottle. So we rate from 1 to 4.
And on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what would you be giving David Cronenberg's 1996 adaptation of J.G. Ballard, the man who wrote Empire of the Sun?
I know, right?
What would you give
So
his
weird.
adaptation of J.G. Ballard's novel Crash?
A bunch of people are like sending super chats. I would love to give this 0.
0?
Can I do that? Is that allowed?
You won't even take at least a glass of water? You won't take a sip?
Do I have to?
All right, 0 it is.
I'm sorry.
All right. Before I tell you what my rating is, Ross Gecko says the wrong Crash won Best Picture. Cheers to Ross. Cheers to
What?
Ross.
No way.
Here's to you, sir.
No. No way would I ever.
Phage Lives says, I'm still Cummins back, Rob.
Yay.
And Claude says, I missed the chat. No, we're not done yet, Claude. We're not quite done yet.
You missed one of his chats.
I missed one of Claude's chats?
That's what he's saying.
No, he said still waiting on Elizabeth's Inception.
Well, what chat did we miss?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I did miss. Wow.
Yeah.
Claude, this is a great super chat. Claude says, The Matrix was a 90s movie that tackled alienation and the blending of human and machine. Fight Club also deals with alienation and the search for purpose.
Yes.
In Fight Club, our heroes fetishize fighting in a way of as a way of invigorating their lives.
Yep.
I like that, Claude.
Claude
He's
is
very
right.
smart. No, okay. So Claude, my Laserdisc is. I absolutely think that's correct. I mean, The Matrix, obviously, in terms of I think The Matrix is a masterpiece. I mean, when I think about it, came out in 1999, and The Matrix is a movie that it was a movie that I think the last time I went into a theater, it was Amelie. Amelie was, I was floored by it, but that was 2001. But The Matrix, when it came out, I had no expectations. That movie floored me. I was blown away.
Absolutely,
I was absolutely blown away by The Matrix. And Claude's right. I mean, alienation and the blending, because it starts out. What's really interesting about that movie is before you know what's going on, you think that Keanu Reeves, is hacker Neo, and he is alien. He's a drone. He's got a terrible job working in a cubicle and all that, and it absolutely deals with that. I wonder why.
Yes, much more successful than this film.
I came from Seattle, where grunge rock, a lot of grunge rock was about alienation. But Seattle was not a very grunge rock came from Seattle, and Seattle was not a very alienating place. I mean, it's like there's
for
a
you,
reason.
Maybe it was for.
I don't know. There's a reason why the only rappers that came out of Seattle that people know are Macklemore and Mix-a-Lot. I mean, they're not exactly the hardest of the hard. Mix-a-Lot's rapping about popping tags, and Macklemore is rapping about popping tags, and Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, but grunge is not rap.
No, but what I'm saying is that grunge, coming out of Seattle was not a place where there was, like, ultimate alienation. I mean, maybe there was. I don't know.
Well, apparently there was.
The Coast Salish Indians, they apparently had the largest rates of suicide amongst all indigenous tribes.
Because it's always raining.
Yeah, but that doesn't... But I think that Claudius is absolutely right.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Yes.
The alienation, I mean... Specifically, Fight Club male alienation. Men searching for their place in the world. By the way, our place. It's funny. Fight Club. Where is men's place in the world now? We're awful people. We're responsible for everything wrong with the planet.
Yeah.
We're terrible. Men are terrible. If you thought Fight Club was about, I can't wait to see who makes the next, like, what's going to happen in 10 years or 5 years. Who's gonna make the next book about or write the next book where men are.
Yeah, I know. Yep. The world is trying to emasculate all of you. I'm sorry.
Do we deserve it?
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you how many glasses of wine I give this movie.
How many?
I give Crash 3 glasses of wine.
Wow.
3 glasses of wine.
3? Wow. Okay.
So you never know. Ross Gecko sends in a super chat and says, I just saw a trailer for a movie on Shudder called The Room. How original. Seeing that pissed me off as much as Paul Haggis calling his movie Crash only 8 years after Cronenberg's. You know what, Ross? Cheers to you, sir. You and I definitely park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay. Well, he probably
never even knew about Cronenberg's Crash.
Yes, he did. Paul Haggis knew. Everybody knew about Cronenberg's Crash. It was in the trades forever.
So why would he pick the same name?
I don't know, because he's Paul Haggis. And he won an Academy Award. He got Me Too'd. He got canceled.
He did?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess everyone is.
Yeah, but if you're a human being long enough, you've done something that we don't exactly have. I mean, the funny thing that we, especially artists, that we want to hold artists to some standard that they're not crazy. Everybody's nuts.
Yes, of course.
So.
Especially artists. They're all nuts.
All right. Well, I didn't know that there was. Shudder's killing it though. I'm a big fan of Shudder.
What's Shudder?
Shudder is a horror network. We have it. It's a horror. They show.
We have it?
Yeah, we have it.
What do you mean we have it?
We have Shudder.
Since when?
We have Shudder. Yeah.
We haven't watched anything on
Well,
Shudder.
we don't watch much on Shudder. We have a lot of stations that you don't know we have.
What?
Shudder's got The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
What the hell? Why don't we have Shudder streaming in the bedroom?
Well, we can have Shudder streaming in the bedroom.
So you have a bunch of streaming services here that you watch on your computer?
No, I don't have them here.
So why do we have streaming services that we don't use?
We have a lot. Have you looked at the National Geographic channel?
On Disney Plus.
Yeah, have you watched it?
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were watching that. Anyway, so yes. Well, I think then we're at time, Elizabeth.
We got one more super chat.
Oh, Jared. Jared Snyder says, "I've seen. Thankfully, somebody's watching Cronenberg's movies. I've seen all of Cronenberg's films. This is the one I would never recommend to the uninitiated. You should do a very long engagement."
Oh, I love that film.
Well,
I would totally pick that, but when we did Atonement, not very many of you watched.
Yeah, but they find it later. I mean, so we might not have had a lot of people watching live, but people will come to it later. I mean, maybe. Atonement is not a movie that.
Come on, it's World War II.
A very long engagement, people. I love a very long. I don't love it like I love Amélie, but it's still a great movie.
It's so good.
It's Jean-Pierre Genet's follow-up to Amélie. It's really, really good.
Okay, I mean.
But you haven't seen Delicatessen or City of Lost Children.
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yes,
Have you seen City of Lost Children?
Well, no, but I've seen Delicatessen.
Okay, you've seen Delicatessen. All right. Well, I guess then we're going to end this show.
Yep.
Hang on. If we're going to end the show, let's get back to... I just would like to one day, maybe this is the last time I can immortalize it, my Laserdisc. And thanks to Dieter Bastian in Saarbrücken, Germany, I have the beautiful 4K restoration of Crash. And now you've seen it.
Now I've seen it.
Are you a better woman because of it?
No, see, this is one of those films probably could have not seen it.
There's a lot of movies I wouldn't. I should. This is the last time. I promise you, I will not subject you to movies like this again.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't. I promise.
But you never know, what.
No, I know. I mean, I know.
Yeah, I don't like censorship either.
Well, I'm not going to censor. Look, I want this should be fun. I feel like this episode is a little too morose. I want to be buoyant and fun and happy. And
I don't know. Did you guys think it was morose?
Well, maybe.
They like when we disagree.
All right. Well. So why don't you take us out?
Yes. Everyone you meet has a story to tell.
No, you can't. Okay. Well, I guess this brings us to the end of Whining About Movies episode number 53, David Cronenberg's 1996 very controversial film, Crash, which is now available in a beautiful 4K restoration all the way from Saarbrücken, Germany, from me, Saarbrücken, Deutschland, from Dieter Bastian, so thank you. And obviously, clearly not one of Elizabeth's more favorite films, but I'm glad we have it to watch and we were able to discuss it. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation about the film.
Sure
so now, Elizabeth, now take us home.
Everyone you meet has a story to tell.
No, you have to say, and remember.
Oh, yes. And remember, everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen.
All you have to do is listen. And what else?
Have a better night.
Have a better night.
We got a super chat.
We did. Divorce. The Physicality channel says divorce it is. Nah, we'll keep it going. I will be back tomorrow on the John Campea Show. We will be back here tomorrow night for Spike Jonze's Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson as the voice of the AI.
Yep.
I love this film. I can't wait to watch it. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Gentle beings, kind souls from across the 28 known galaxies. Doc Savage says, please check out House of Yes, even if you don't review it. Great film. It's not a porno, I promise. Well, if it was, we'd
watch it.
Yeah, we'd watch it. We should review a porn film. That would be fun.
No. This is as close to porn as we'll get.
Really?
Yeah.
What about like Henry and June? What about like Unbearable Lightness of Being?
Porn? porn?
Well, because there's interesting, like, Emmanuel we could review, or we could do a Radley Metzger film like The Image, or The Licorice Quartet. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with Robservations, and we will be back tomorrow with Whining About Movies at 7 o'clock tomorrow night with her. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for enjoying
and her
us.
Is not porn.
Her is not porn. It's porn of the mind. The best kind of porn. All right, well, and here end Elizabeth's number 53. Whining About Movies is over. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your generous support. I want to thank all of you people that support the channel via super chats, via tips. If you write me letters or write us letters, you can write to the Burnettwork.net. Go to the Burnettwork.net website, our sister website, and send us letters there. You can send us videos. No one sent us a video yet. We will play them.
Yes.
I want to thank our moderating staff. I want to thank Mike Bawden. I want to thank Greg Smith. I want to thank Jordy Lyons. I especially want to thank the Richard. And we have new Robert Pariso, and we have Joshua Levesque, and we have Mr. Derringer, new moderators. The Richard's been a busy boy. And if you go to the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page or the Whining About Movies Facebook page, you can participate there. The Richard's always throwing watch parties. Now he's doing Zoom parties. I don't know what he's doing, but it's amazing. So Go find him there.
And on the Whining Facebook page, I put a picture of Zed cookies.
Zed cookies. So thank you all very much. And as always, have a better day. Or as you say,
have a better night.
Have a better night.
Or as B.L. Alley would say, have a buttered knife.